In the previous class, we learned that from the simple linear regression, you would have observed in the various sessions of this expert classes since last 3 days. The simple linear regression has been referred by many people. Here, many places it come in neural networks, in recurrent. Yesterday also in recurrent neural networks and many other applications. You observe that linear regression comes as a important uh, method that we can able to predict when we want to have a dependent variable and we want to based on predict some parameters on independent variable. So a simple linear regression we studied in the first day, the second session, that the relationship between one variable and another variable, how it is going to affect and how it is going to uh, um, uh, help us in analyzing the predictions. We all observe that. And also we try to investigate statistical method. A simple linear regression, we studied that simple y is equal to beta 0, that is y-intercept, and beta 1, the slope of regression line, and error. As we are predicting, we assume that error would be 0, and the x would be independent variable, and y would be the dependent variable. And we observe that as independent values are uh, uh, we observed and analyzed that as independent based on the independent values, how the dependent value we can able to predict in the future. And we considered one example of a restaurant for taking tips and for the meal amount, and we observe that the meal amount is dependent variable, and the dependent variable would be the tip, because tip is based on how much meal we are eating. One person can eat, one person is consuming, right? So we studied and we predict if meal amount would be the next X amount, be my tip amount, that we try to by using scatter plot by various.
Hello, sir. You are not audible.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, now.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes.
I'm sorry that internet got
Satish?
disconnected. There were network issues.
Okay.
Got disconnected when I'm taking the session using mobile data. So I'm applying the data in my mobile also and laptop also. So it is taking some issues. So kindly bear with me. I'll get back as soon as possible. Yeah. So now it's clear.
Noise is there. Little noise is there.
Please, all of you mute yourselves. Noise is not from my side. Let me mute all of you. Now it's clear, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So the noise is not from my side. Please mute all of you. All right. So let's continue our discussion. So what we studied in the first day, second session is all about simple linear regression, and we take one example. We have taken an example of simply predicting the tip amount, wheel amount, and we try to analyze that using scatter plots and we try to fit a simple equation using slopes and intercepts, and we observe that the confidence using standard deviation. So we observed many other parameters how to do linear regression. Now, in regression, when we talk about regression, it's not simply a simple linear regression, although it helps in major parameters. The idea is like it is not always in the reality that there would be only one independent variable. So here we are considering, the assumption is there will be one independent variable. Based on that one independent variable, we are trying to predict how my dependent variable is going to affect. But in reality, we were never sure that there will be always only one independent variable. There will be multiple independent variables. The dependent variable may be influenced by many independent variables. That is the reality, right? So if there is only one independent variable, well and good, we can apply simple linear regression. But in reality, it is not always the case. There might be many factors that will influence the dependent variable. So how do we handle in such situations is the question. And hence the extension, the part 2, we can consider as a multiple linear regression, where the multiple parameters, multiple independent variables are going to come into the picture now, and we are going to learn how we can able to predict the dependent variable based on multiple independent variables. What are the various issues involved in it, as the number of independent variables are going to increase. That we will try to learn for next half an hour, next 30 minutes to 45 minutes. Okay. So multiple linear regression is we will study now. So once again, as I discussed in the previous class, we will take one simple example, and as we will take one model, and we will try to through that model we will try to learn the concepts that how multiple linear regression is going to affect. So let me try to bring an example or a model that will help us to understand. So let us assume that we have a small business. You are the small business owner for the delivery service. Okay, we can call that as a regional delivery service, RDS. We can deliver the letters, packages, or small cargoes, whatever it is. Okay. Now, what our idea is, we will use Google Maps to deliver individual items, and our objective is to deliver the maximum number of deliveries in one trip to reduce the time and fuel cost. So the ideal would be in one trip. When you go for one trip, we will try to, in that route, whatever the deliveries are there, we will try to deliver all those deliveries so that it will reduce the time, and also it will reduce the fuel cost, and it will reduce the effort that man has taken to deliver. Okay. So therefore, some trips will have more than one delivery. That is now avoidable. But as owner, we would like to estimate how long a delivery will take based on two factors. One is the distance of the trip, how long we are going, because say X plus X amount we traveled, there might be another delivery in X plus 5 kilometers. Then if you go for X plus 5 kilometers, then no need to go next time to deliver. We can say interested in two factors: the total distance traveled in the trip for the miles, or the number of deliveries that must be made during the trip. How many deliveries that has being delivered? I mean, how many deliveries we are considering, and how much distance we are covering. So these are two factors that will influence the time factor. Okay, how long it will take. So I'm trying to bring to a sample data as shown in the slide. You can see we have x1 parameter, the number of miles traveled, and x2 parameter, number of delivers, and what our dependent variable will be the travel time in number of hours. So we a sample of 10 trips that has been recorded in the previous sample data, and have three piece information, right? One is the total miles traveled x1. So suppose say one guy at one sample data, 89 miles traveled. So 4 deliveries has happened. So it took 7 hours. So that is the idea. That's how we are interpreting total miles traveled, number of deliveries, and total travel time in hours. So here you can see that the Y are the dependent variable travel time is dependent on two independent variables, x1 and x2. Miles we are traveling and how much number of delivers. So miles traveled and number of delivers are both independent variables. They don't depend on any factor, but number of hours is traveled, travel time, how much travel time is dependent on number of delivers and miles traveled. So we collected this, suppose say we travel 1111 miles and we deliver 6 number of delivers, and the approximate, the recorded time would be 7.4 hours. So if there is less time, say 66 delivers only, 66 miles only, then 2 delivers are being delivered, then the travel time would be just 5.6 hours. You can see the corresponding the number of miles traveled happened and travel time. We are able to put some sample data here, and we will now in this case we have 2 independent variables and 1 dependent variable. Here we cannot, how do we predict the next travel time if the number of miles delivered or number of miles traveled or number of delivers? That simple linear regression will not work here, because simple linear regression works on only 1 independent variable. We will predict the dependent variable. Here we have 2 independent variables, and we will try to see how we can able to handle this situation. Okay, so we have to remember in this case that we would like to predict the total travel time based on the parameters of miles traveled and number of delivers in each tree. So does the time, in what way travel time depend on first 2 measures, we will try to learn. So travel time is always a dependent variable. Miles traveled and number of delivers are independent variables that already we have discussed. So let's, if I have to talk about multiple regression, we can see the slides here. It's an extension of simple linear regression. Okay, we will try to extend in a simple way of simple linear regression to multiple linear regression. In simple linear regression, the relationship is between 1 to 1. Okay, what do you mean by 1 to 1? We have 1 independent variable and 1 dependent variable. We are predicting the dependent variable. So dv is dependent variable, iv is independent variable. So the dependent variable relationship can be interpreted or investigated based on the 1 independent variable, hence the relationship is 1 to 1. But in multiple regression, we don't have 1 independent variable, we have multiple independent variables, maybe 4, more than 1, okay, 2, 3 or more than 1, and that 1 dependent variable is able to is influenced by many independent variable factors. Okay, here the relationship is many to 1. Guys, please mute yourself, as I'm hearing some noise. Please mute yourself. Okay, so here the relationship is many to 1. Many independent factors or many independent variables will influence the decision making or predicting of a dependent variable. So there is a myth here. I will try to explain one myth. We have to consider some new assumptions here. So adding more independent variables to a regression will not produce a better model. No, it is not. It is not. In fact, it will make worse. It will make things worse. If things happen, if things are getting worse by adding more independent variables, this situation we call that as a overfitting. Okay. Ideally, we assume that adding more independent variables will help me to determine more effectiveness of dependent variable. It may not be all the time. Sometimes it may cause more trouble to us. It will become more worse than actually adding more parameters. So in such cases, we call when more independent variables are being added, then if things are getting worse, we call that as a overfitting. Okay, try to remember this overfitting. Also, there is if addition of one more independent variable creates more relationship among them, means the independent variable is dependent on independent variable itself. Okay, so our ideal job is to investigate the relationship between independent variable and dependent variable. But sometimes the independent variable will depend dependent on independent variable itself. So they are related with each other. There will be a lot of correlation. There will be strong correlation will be there between among the independent case. Also, that is a problem. Ideally, we have to bring the relationship between the independent variables and dependent variables. When an independent variable is depending on independent variable itself, when there is a correlation between among independent variables, we call that as a multi-core. Okay, multi-core. That is an issue. Okay, so ideal case would be not independent variables, but only with dependent, not with each other. That would be the case. If that is the case, then I can able to predict very well. If there are independent variables depending on independent variables, we call that as a multi-core. In regression, there are two issues. One is overfitting, and second is multicollinearity. And we will try to see how we are going to take care of these two issues. If you take care of these two issues, then our prediction model would be, we can say it's a better one. So we have to resolve this overfitting and multicollinearity issues first. We have to make sure that when we are analyzing in a multiple regression, we should avoid the independent variables depending on each other. If there are independent variables depending on each other, if there is a strong correlation, then we will not consider them. Okay, we will consider only one of those independent variables because they are strongly related with each other. There is no point in analyzing both the independent variables, right? So because they are related strongly, one of them would be good enough to go ahead with this. So how do you choose which one to select, which one to drop? Again, there is a question, and we will try to see all these issues in the upcoming slides. So because of this multicollinearity and overfitting, so we need to do preparation work before conducting multiple regression analysis. So that we need to take care. So if we have to do proper correlation, we have to analyze the correlations between independent variables and dependent variable and independent variables among itself. And we will plot the scatter plots among the independent variables and how it is going to affect the dependent variable. And we will analyze the simple regressions with respect to each method, and we will try to do step by step. Okay.
So
Now,
sir, this is Nilesh here. I have a question. So can there be multiple dependent dependent variable?
No, I mean, then the equation will change. Our objective is ideally we are trying to estimate one dependent variable.
Okay.
The goal is, your objective is how this travel time, in this case, how travel time is going to influence. Your objective is ideally one.
Okay.
For one objective, we are trying to make a model. What are the parameters that is going to affect? If you have another parameter to handle, then you have to look after the factors that are being influenced by that for that dependent variable. Ideally, we cannot predict multiple models in regression because it is a supervised learning method, right? So we are trying to predict only one at a time.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. One dependent variable will take at a time, and what are the factors that are influencing the dependent variable we will try to analyze. Now the question is, if the dependent variable prediction will be influenced by only one factor, then we'll go for simple linear regression. If the dependent variable is influenced by multiple factors, we'll go for multiple linear regression.
Okay, sir.
If you want to predict multiple factors, then you have to go for multiple equations, like multiple models, but one at a time.
Yeah, got it.
All right. So ideally, the case is independent variable should be influenced by dependent. This is many to one relationship. Hope What you are many or many to many. That is not the scope of regression. Okay. So the ideally, what we are considering is one. We are not going to the scope of one to many or many to many. That is what we are not considering. Shall we go ahead?
Sir, your voice is breaking, sir.
Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, so ideally, we'll try to analyze in multiple regression how my one dependent variable is going to influence by many independent variables. That is the ideal case. So, if as shown in the slide, if my independent variables, although they are many, are going to affect my dependent variable many to one, then this is the ideal case for multiple linear regression. But in reality, it may not all the case. So there might be potential multi-collinearity parameter will come into the picture. That is, the independent variable will influence among each. So this is potential multi-collinearity issue. Then we will try to see how we are going to take a look at it. Now, when we do this, what happens is, like, suppose there are 4 independent variables. Let's assume that there are 4 independent variables and one dependent variable. And now what happens is, now if the independent variables depends on among each other, then we have to consider the 10 relationship, because the all 4 independent dependent variable will give me 4 relationships. Then the relationship among independent variables again it will give me 6 relationships, because each independent variable depend on other 3. So that will we have now I have to consider 6 more. This would be troublesome. So we will try to reduce this number of relationships. Okay. So brown line as shown would be the ideal case. So we will try to remove this relationship between independent variables among independent variables. We will try to minimize that. We will try to understand first we will investigate the relationship correlation between the independent variables, and if there is any there is a strong correlation between independent variables, then they are redundant because they are strongly related with each other. We'll consider either one of them in order to make the prediction. Then the number of relationships will be reduced. So likewise, we will try to build our model. We will refine the preparation work. So ideal would be we will try to minimize as minimum as the relationship between independent among the independent variables. And once that is done, then it would be very easy for us to evaluate the dependent variable. The model would be more precise. So as I told, so the ideal case for ideal case would be the independent variables. If they are correlated with dependent variable but not with each other. Okay, so they should have a relationship between how the relationship between independent variables and dependent variables would be the ideal case, but not with each other. So some independent variables or set of independent variables will be better at predicting the dependent variables than others. So some contribute nothing. We will find out by various ways how this what the dependent variable influenced. If the independent variable is not contributing anything, so we'll neglect them. We'll neglect them. Maybe one or two or set of independent variables may influence the dependent variable. We will be interested in those independent variables only. So that would be the ideal case. So as simple linear regression has only one equation, as I have shown in the first slide, the multiple regression model will have many parameters. Of course, they are linear because we are. This is also comes under linear regression. So my model will look like my y, the y dependent variable will be depending on the slope beta 0 and beta 1 of x1, beta 2 of x2, and so on, up to say p parameters, p independent variables, and with some error e. Now here x1, x2, x3, and so on, xp are my independent variables. Beta 1, beta 2, beta 3, and so on, beta 4 are the coefficients, and beta 0 is the slope. Okay, this we discussed already in the previous. Ideally, the regression model would be expected y value would be without error. Okay, error we will assume as 0. Then ideally our multiple regression model expected of y would look like beta 0 and plus beta 1 and x1 and so on and so forth. But the estimated, the same equation we are rewriting in terms of y cap, which we discussed in the first class, simple linear regression. I'm trying to rewrite the equation in terms of b0 plus b1 x1 b plus b2 x2 and so on and so forth. Here again I'm saying that b0, b1, b2 are the estimates of estimate values of beta 0, beta 1, and beta 2 and so on and so forth. Then y cap is the predicted value of the dependent variable E of y. So this is a simple model which we discussed in the simple linear regression. I'm trying to extend into multiple linear regression by adding more into as simple as that. Okay. Okay. So for example, if you want to see my estimated value y cap, if my equation would look like 6.211 plus 0.014 of x1 plus 0.038 of x2 minus 0.607 of x3, then my intercept would be 6.211, which will be b0, then 0.414 0.07 will be my coefficients, and x1, x2, x3 are the independent variables that will influence my estimated y. So those are the estimated values. Also the coefficients are the estimates of beta 0, beta 1, beta 2. We can write as b0, b1, b2, and y cap would be the predicted dependent variable. This is one simple example how it looks like when we take the real example. Okay, real life example. Now, how do we spread this course? How we are going to analyze that if there are multiple?
Sir, one question here. Sir, one question here. So you mentioned B0 as a slope earlier, and you're saying it's a intercept. So what exactly there is vision for me?
Okay. My mistake. It is intercept. It's not slope. Slope here would be for each parameter. The slope would be 0.014. The coefficients will be the slope. I'm sorry, my mistake.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, the intercept is y where the equation will meet the y-axis. Yeah. My mistake. I'm sorry. I was in my mind. I'm thinking that as 0.14 as a slope, but my mistake. I said wrongly. Thanks for correcting. Okay.
No worries, sir. Thanks.
Y-intercept. The slope would be coefficients here we can consider. If it's linear regression, then one coefficient will be considered as slope, right? We write that y is equal to mx plus multiplied by x, and c would be the intercept. Okay. So if there are how do you interpret this coefficients? We will try to see. Suppose there is yeah. So suppose let's take the equation y cap is equal to 27 plus 9x1 plus 12x2. And what we'll do in multiple regression is we will when each coefficients are associated with each independent variable, we will consider the change in a variable one at a time. Okay, so only we'll consider one at a time. The remaining independent variables will keep constant. We'll try to assume that the other independent variables are constant, and we will try to estimate the y value by considering only one unit change in variable. What do you mean by that? For example, when I say, let's assume that my estimated y cap, estimated of y cap is equal to 27 plus 9x1 and 12x2, where x1 is the capital investment, say $1,000, and x2 is the marketing expenditures. So then what would be the predicted sales for $1,000 when I ask this question? In this example, let's assume that if we substitute these values, so in this example, approximate x1. When I want to say that x1 would be the capital investment, when I invest say $1,000, so my $9,000 is the estimated expected increase in sales y, corresponding to $1,000 increase in the capital investment x1, while marketing expenditure x2 held constant. So here we are keeping x2 constant. We will not disturb that. Okay. If that x2 is kept as a constant, then for every $1,000 there would be $9,000 estimated expected increase in the sales one. Does that make sense? What I am trying? We will consider only one independent variable at a time. The other independent variables will keep constant. Then interpretation would be, if there is $1,000 for every $1,000 investment, $1,000 increase in the investment, say x1 parameter, there would be an substantially dollars expected estimation will be there in the sales y. So that would be the ideal interpretation how we are carrying on. Suppose if I want to keep x1 as a constant, then for every $1,000 in x2, there would be $12,000 increase will be there in the sales. The estimated expected sales would be $12,000. So here we will keep x1 constant. Now for every $1,000 in x2, there would be 12,000. Simply the trying to multiply, and I'm trying to interpret how the variable change in y will corresponding to each unit change in the variable. Now we will try to study one. Okay, then only we can able to interpret very effectively. So that is the coefficients how we are trying to interpret. So each parameter, each independent variable will have some coefficients that will affect my total sales. But we will try to understand by investigating one parameter at a time. But the sales, the total sales might be influenced by many factors. Okay. So this is simple interpreting how we are going to take care when we are going to multiple linear regression. So having said this, as we before conducting the multiple regression, as I said that there will be substantial requirements of preparation work. So here are the few steps. What we'll do is, first we will generate the list of potential variables, both dependent and independent variables. Then we'll collect the data for that variables, and we will check the relationship between independent variables and the dependent variable using scatter plots and correlations. So based on this scatter plots and correlations, we will be able to understand how the relationship is being affected among the independent variables and how it is going to affect the relationship between our dependent variable. And we will check the relationship between independent variables using scatter plots and correlations, and we'll remove the redundant independent variables, and we will take only the factors that are most influencing. We will try to solve this multi-collinearity problem, and then the other problem which I discussed. What is that? I forgot. Overfitting. Sorry. Yeah. So the overfitting issue, we'll try to resolve that. So we'll conduct simple linear regression between independent variable and dependent variable, and we will try to see what are the non-redundant dependent variables to fit the best model. We'll try to analyze that. So once the best fitting model predictions are there, then we will try to estimate the independent variable. So that is a sequence of steps. We will try to study this based on few examples. Let's try to go ahead. Now, let's take another example. I'm adding one more independent variable here for my better analysis. I will tell you in the upcoming slides how this adding of another parameter is important in my example. Okay. So to conduct my analysis based on the past 10 trips, so I'll collect the four pieced information. I added one more information here, gas price. What would be the gas price? The total miles traveled, the number of deliveries, and the gas price, and the total time in hours. So these are the three independent variables and one dependent variable, travel time, because my travel time is also depends on the gas, how much fuel I'm putting in my vehicle. That I try to analyze how this example will help us to estimate that. So when we sketch the relationship between independent variables and dependent variables, we can see that there are 6 relationships to analyze. Okay, the travel time Y is depends on miles traveled X1, the number of deliveries X2, and the gas price X3. Also, we will try to analyze what is the relationship between gas price miles traveled and gas price number of deliveries and miles traveled and number of deliveries. So there are 6 relationships to analyze now, and we will try to analyze using scatter plots and correlations, and we will try to understand how they affect with each other. Now, when I plot the scatter plot between travel time and miles traveled, so what do you mean by that? You see the table, travel time and miles traveled. I am trying to take one independent variable and one dependent, how it is going to affect the dependent variable. Say for 89 miles traveled, the travel time is 7 hours, right? So the lowest value is 44. For 44, the travel time would be 4.8 hours travel. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth row. If you observe the fifth row, 44 miles traveled, my travel time would be 4.8. So I'm trying to plot this scatter plot. You can see that for 44, the 4.8 would be the first plot on. You can see the scatter plot, and I plotted the miles traveled, that is independent variable, on x-axis, and the travel time dependent variable on y-axis, and I try to plot this scatter. And as I observe this, as I see this scatter plot, I see some relationship, a strong relationship exists between the miles traveled and travel time. And you observe, we studied in the simple linear regression, when the scatter plot comes like this, we will try to how we can able to draw the simple linear regression we studied in the simple linear, right? Only one parameter at a time. And when I see that, I can see that there is a simple linear regression. It's some fitting model is coming based on the scatter plot. Okay, so there is some strong relationship is exists between the miles traveled and travel time. So that's what I meant to say by seeing the scatter plot. So I can able to draw some relation, bring out some relationship, strong correlation between travel time and miles traveled. So this is evidence as we can extend. And let's try to now plot the scatter plot between number of deliveries and travel time. That is the second independent variable, and between the time. And that, as you can see, the plotting values. If you see the values here, what is the table? Now, if you see the number of deliveries, for if there is one delivery, then the travel time would be 5.4. There are 4 deliveries, then there would be travel time be 7 hours. The travel time, if the number of deliveries are more, then travel time is increasing. Based on the number of deliveries, the travel time is also influenced. Now I'm trying to plot the number of deliveries on x-axis and travel time on y-axis, and I plotted the scatter plot, and still I can able to see that some relationship exists based on this plot. And when I apply the linear regression technique on these 2 parameters, you can able to come up with some linear equation, simple linear regression. There is a strong relationship exists between the number of deliveries and travel time. If the number of deliveries are less, then the travel time is taking less. If the number of deliveries are more, then there is the subsequent increase in the travel time. I can able to see based on the simple scatter plot in an increasing slope. So this you can able to identify. Then the third parameter, if you see the gas price and the travel time, as you can see the third column here, gas price X3 and travel time I'm trying to plot. For if my gas price is 3.84 and the travel time is taking 7 hours, sometime my gas is taking 3.19 units of gas. then my travel time is 5.4, and I'm trying to plot the gas price versus travel time. And as you can see that the plots between gas price and travel time, the plots looks very blob, right? Blob. It seems like they are scattered. Some are scattered towards the y-axis, some are scattered towards x-axis, and it's scattered all over the plot. So it is very difficult to predict a linear prediction. You can apply the simple linear regression method on this, but you can see that the relationship between the gas price and travel time is very difficult to predict here. Now, when we plot the values between dependent variable and independent variable, the third gas price and scatter plot, there is no such strong relationship correlation exists between the dependent variable and independent variable. So we plotted that. Now, based on this scatter plots, we can observe that the miles traveled and travel time. Okay, please mute yourself. As we can see that the miles traveled and the travel time is strongly related, and the number of deliveries and travel time is also strongly related, but gas price has nothing to do with travel time. Based on the sample data, we can able to understand the relationship between the dependent variable and independent variable. Now, what do we interpret that based on the scatter plot summary? So the travel time Y appears to be highly correlated with miles traveled and number of deliveries, but it is not highly correlated with gas price. So since gas price is not appear to be correlated with the dependent variable, we will not use that variable in a multiple regression. Okay, we will not use that because there is no point in using, because they are not anywhere related. So we are decreasing the number of independent variables in order to make our dependent variable prediction more precise. Okay, so now for now we will keep the gas price, but as for learning purpose. But ideally, when we are going for real life prediction, we can neglect the gas price, because there is no strong relation exists between gas price and the travel time. So that's how we are eliminating the factors that are not influenced. There is no strong relationship between the dependent and independent variables. We can say, okay, now what happens? Now the relationship number is decreased. Okay, so that is our objective. Now we will try to understand as a subsequent step. We will try to understand how the independent variables will dependent on independent variables itself, how they are going to interpret. Now, the before example so far, we analyzed how independent variables are influencing the dependent variables. From that, we understood that only the strong correlation parameters will consider for our evaluation. Whichever is not strong relationship or strong correlation is there, we can remove that. That would be the interpretation that we understood how it is going to increase. Now we will try to understand how independent variables can be analyze the independent variables among each other. Now we will try to plot the values. As you can see, first plot I try to understand what is the relationship between miles traveled and number of deliveries. And when you say that here miles traveled x1 and number of deliveries are x2, both are independent variables, and I'm trying to predict is there any relationship between among them. You can see that the plot, the values seems like there is a strong relationship exists between number of deliveries and miles traveled. And when you apply that, the model, the linear regression is false to be there is a strong relationship between these two parameters. Also, when I plot the values between miles traveled and gas price, that is x1 and x3, again the plot looks like a blob. They are scattered everywhere. So here we are not able to come up with any efficient linear model. We can say that here the relationship is not that strong. You can see that the points in the scatter plot between miles traveled and number of deliveries seems to be fall on some line which is close enough where the residual error will be minimum, right? Our main objective in simple linear regression, as we discussed in the first class, we can say that if you recollect, our objective is the sum of square errors, the error between the predicted and the actual model should be minimum. As you can see, when I'm drawing this plot, when I'm making a simple linear regression line, the error in this case minimum, and all the points will fall, seems like fall on some line. But whereas in this case, it is scattered everywhere. Here the error would be very more, and hence we can say that there is no strong relationship. And likewise, if you can interpret the relationship between X2 and X3 also, again the plot, the number of delivers and gas price, again the plot looks very very scattered everywhere. We are not able to come with an efficient linear regression method, simple linear regression. So what we understand by this? So here we can see that the miles traveled and number of deliveries are independent. I mean, there is a strong relationship exists between miles traveled and number of deliveries, but there is no strong relationship between miles traveled and gas price and number of deliveries and gas price. Now, what do you mean by that? Now, the miles traveled, the number of deliveries are dependent on each other. Means there is strong relationship exists between those independent variables. Because there is a strong relationship exists between miles traveled and number of deliveries, now considering both these parameters would be redundant. Okay, so either you will go for miles traveled or either you can go for, so that would be our interpretation. Whereas you can see that the multi-collinearity factor, the gas price and miles, there is no strong relation, and number of deliveries and gas price, there is no strong relation. We can go ahead with this. But the first case, the miles traveled and number of deliveries, there seems to be a strong relation. Now, how do you interpret this? As when we talk about independent variable to independent variable, we observe that the number of deliveries is highly correlated with the miles traveled, and there is a multi-collinearity problem. Okay, they are dependent on each other. Means there is a strong relationship existing among those two parameters. And you can see that miles traveled and gas price, they are not highly correlated, and also gas price does not appear to be correlated with the number of deliveries. So since number of deliveries is highly correlated with miles traveled, we will not consider both these methods. We will not use both in the multiple regression because they are redundant with each other. Okay, so we will not consider both of them. That's how we are going ahead with this multiple linear regression. For learning purpose, we will keep both this now, but we can neglect when we are going for the real life. Okay. Now there is one when we see this the regression parameter R value. I explained in the previous simple linear regression how the R value can be calculated by using R square. You can take the square root. If you have doubts, you can refer those slides which I shared, the simple linear regression, how this R value can be determined. Again, the P value is a significance that how my relationship will be interpreted for the null hypothesis. When I'm assuming that what is my hypothesis, what is the significance level of that assumption will be determined by P value. So ideally, if it is 0, then we can say that yes, they can be considered. If it is beyond some value, then we can say that we will not consider. As we can see, the relationship between dependent variable and independent variable as miles traveled and travel time, and the number of deliveries and travel time, gas price and travel time. The relationship between R value is very high in miles traveled and travel time as 0.928, and you can see that number of deliveries would be 0.916. Again, there is a strong relationship, and for the third case, the R value is very less, indicating that there is no strong relationship exists between this parameter. So we can consider linearity. When you plot the values of R, then you can see that the first x1 and x2, x1 and x3, and x2 and x3, the relationship R value, you can see that 0.956. Here for multicollinearity, the relationship should not be there, but for overfitting, we have to take care of it. Okay. So if there is a strong relationship exists between independent variables among independent variables, then we will not consider. That is a very danger to our model because we will not come with efficient prediction. Now, as this x1 and x3 and x2 and x3 are, you can see that the regression relationship is very less. we can consider is not as strong, we can consider this values. So what do you mean by that? This correlation summary helps us, the simple scatter plots will help us to reach a conclusion by visual examination how the relationships are exist between dependent variables and independent variables and among those independent variables. So redundant multi-collinearity variables, miles traveled and number of deliveries are highly correlated with each other. Therefore, they are redundant, though only one we will consider for multiple regression. That is the idea. We will not consider both miles traveled and number of deliveries. We will consider either miles traveled or the number of deliveries. Only one you can consider because both are strongly related. So what are the non-contributing variables? So gas price is not correlated with dependent variables. So we can neglect that. Okay, so we can neglect the gas variables because you can exclude them. We will not include in our model because it is not influencing the dependent variable y by any way. There is no relationship between gas price and my y, the travel time. So we can exclude it. Okay, so that's how we will minimize the optimization in coefficients and the number of dependent variables. We can able to minimize as minimum as possible. Then that's what multiple regression works. The same steps I'm repeating here, which I explained in the previous slide. The potential variables between independent and dependent. We'll collect the variables, check the relationship between independent variable and dependent variable using scatter plots and correlations, and check the relationship between independent variables using scatter plots and correlations. Conduct simple linear regression for each pair. Okay, each independent and dependent pair. Redundant independent variables will be used for analysis. All the redundant variables, we will neglect them and we can make use of dependent variable for the best fitting model. So having said this, I will show a few examples how this variable regression will help. Then we will stop and go for questions. So in the first step, we will try to perform the simple linear regression technique on each dependent variable individually. We'll consider one at a time. I explained the previous slide. When we are interpreting with multiple independent variables, we will consider only one independent variable at a time, and the remaining independent variable will keep constant. We will try to interpret only one independent variable and dependent variable at a time. Then also after that, what I mean by example, as I shown in this equation, let me take to that slide. Yeah. So as shown in this slide, as multiple factors may affect my y, x1 and x2, so we'll consider only one at a time. So ideally, we'll start with x2 as a constant, and we will try to make a simple linear regression method based on x1 parameter. Okay, a simple x1 parameter and how my y is applied based on a simple linear regression. And the second step would be, now I'll keep x1 as a constant and I will evaluate how my simple linear regression method will work based on x2. Again, I'll carry out the simple linear regression method, and I'll try to investigate the relationship, what are the factors and how my factor is influencing. That's what I'm trying to explain here. Yeah. So we will perform a simple linear regression for each independent variable individually. Okay. So there are some values experiments has been conducted in Excel and Minitab for evaluating the various parameters like coefficients. When I say coefficients, the values, T statistics, T value. When I say variance, ANOVA, what do you mean by ANOVA? Analysis of variance. How my FLP value is evaluated, the R square, what is the actual R square value, adjusted R square value, and R square predicted. This R square, again, I explained in the simple linear regression, the first class, and the variation inflation factor. All these parameters we will try to see. So first, I travel and travel time, how much miles travel, x1 parameter on travel time, and you can see the simple linear regression. If we apply, we will come up with a model with the coefficients of 3.1856 plus 0.0403 of x1. This is a simple linear regression method which we discussed in the first class. We can come up with this equation, and we can see the confidence level 95%, above 95%, the interval will always falls upon this slope, and we try to estimate all these parameters. So upon getting all these values, we can understand that based on this estimated y, my y-intercept would be 3.1856. My slope is 0.0403, which is a positive, slightly increasing towards the higher end, means like slightly towards increasing between x and y, right? So how do you interpret that? As increase in 1 mile means if x is increasing by 1 mile, there the delivery time will increase by 0.403 hours. So that's how I'm trying to interpret by simple linear regression method. This does okay. Likewise, we can see the travel time and number of deliveries. We can come up with second equation. The travel time in this case, y parameter is influenced by my y-intercept. In this case would be 4.845, and my slope is 0.4983 into number of deliveries. How to interpret this? As x2, one delivery is increased. As one delivery is increased, then there will be a subsequent increase in 0.4983 hours in my travel time. So we are trying to interpret how my y is affecting individually one at a time between x1 and x2. Okay, so this is what I meant to say. Suppose you want to estimate there are 4 deliveries, then your estimated time would be, you substitute simply 4 in this equation, you will get approximately 6.838 hours. That is approximately 6 hours 50 minutes. Okay, so you can estimate the delivery time based on these parameters. Now we will not able to we no need to worry about the gas price travel time, because it's a very it is very less. We will not solve that. We understood that there is no strong relationship exists between travel time and gas price. We will not worry about this gas price. So what do you mean by that? When we model this, all these values, these parameters, you can see the first parameter for x1. For x1, when you consider x1, my r square is 84%. For adjusted, my r square predicted is 79%, and the p value and f value, you can see that, and it is very, among these values, you can see that the r square value, the relationship is more of 84% is influencing the dependent factor of y, whereas in x2 you can see that 81% is influencing my dependent factor. So you can see that the third gas, the r square value is 0, because there is no strong relationship between x and p. So among this, if you want to consider what is the most influencing factor, my dependent variable, I'll go for the first x1 parameter. X1 is most influencing parameter of my y value. So you can say that the x1 is the miles traveled is always most influencing on the travel time. That's what we are trying to interpret. So what do you mean by, let's try, I'll try to conclude, then I'll take questions. So the multiple regression is a simple extension of simple linear regression method. There are many independent variables will be there to predict and explain the variance in one dependent variable. There are 2 issues we have to take care. One is overfitting and multicollinearity. Overfitting will caused by adding more independent factors into the variable. It will create my prediction more worse than instead of making better. So such methods I'll neglect this. So in our example, adding the gas will not help me in any way. So adding that, interpreting, investigating such gas price parameters, we can neglect them. Okay, by analyzing it is causing me more trouble than going for the other variables. So I'll neglect those parameters. So that's how we are taking care of overfitting issue. We will analyze the relationship between independent variables and dependent variables. Whichever is the relationship is not strong between independent and dependent variables, we'll remove them. So we address between independent and dependent variables, this overfitting issue. Multicollinearity is the relationship between independent among independent variables, and we will analyze by analyzing the relationship existing between them. If there are relationship exists between a strong relationship exists between independent variables, we'll consider only one because of the redundancy. And when we add, when we take into consideration of all this prediction of dependent variable, we will go for one at a time, and we'll try to understand which factor is influencing most, and we'll try to predict the model. In multiple regression, each coefficient is interpreted a variable in a change in y corresponding to one unit change in variable, and all the other variables are held constant. So in that way, we can able to interpret how my y is influenced by x1 or x2 or x3, and we can make a table. We can see which is the most influencing factor, which is the second most influencing factor, and we can make precautionaries accordingly. So these are the few references that you can come across. We can refer for the models which I explored. I included them in the slides. To follow few books for more details, we can explore them. The various textbooks and some video lectures. You can explore them. So I'll stop here.